Hello. So, I don't read a lot of comments because I'm not a real YouTuber. I just like to make chatty videos, put it on the internet, and have like one person see them. So, I haven't been reading any of the comments that I've gotten, specifically for the college acceptance video that I posted last year. But I saw that a lot of people want to read what I wrote for my personal insight questions, and I just vetted them through really quickly, and I'm like, okay, like I think I could post this. But yeah, these are my personal insight questions. Let's get started, I guess. Oh yeah, and I transferred last year, and I got accepted to every college that I applied to for the UCs except for UCI, but I got accepted to UCLA and UC Berkeley, so there's that. So that means this is decent enough, I guess. Anyways, let's get started. The first one is transfer specific, so it's please describe how you have prepared for your intended major, including your readiness to succeed in your upper division courses once you enroll at the university. My answer was, I grew up in the midst of a diversified melting pot, culturally, religiously, socio-economically, and otherwise. I've spent my entire early life internalizing the concept that a person's background didn't matter when it came to their individual self. It wasn't until I took a course on intersectionality when I realized that people are inherently judged based on their uncontrollable surface-level features rather than their individuality. After discovering this, I reflected on my own environment and grasped how apparent the disparity between privileged and disenfranchised groups actually was. I've just never taken notice. While some of my peers lived their lavish, privileged lives, I noticed that others had to deal with hardships, whether it be debt, immigration issues, or police brutality. From then on, I swore to myself that I'd utilize the privilege I've been given to stand up for what is just by working my way to become the first female Filipino-American Supreme Court Justice. Having this in mind, I want to take up a major that both led to my intended career path and piqued my interest. When I took my first accounting course concurrently with my microeconomics course, I instantly became intrigued with the world of business and economics. Besides paving the way for law school, I found myself fascinated by the different facets of this field, especially with how it was broad enough to steer into whatever direction I chose. Because of my insatiable interest, I started working as a bookkeeper so I could apply everything I learned in the classroom to real-world situations and build my experience in the workforce. In addition, I also applied to volunteer for a local program where business students assist with filling out low-income families' tax forms pro bono. If given the opportunity to pursue a degree at a University of California, I'd make the most out of all the upper division courses and take advantage of every opportunity the university has to offer in order to gain useful knowledge and skills for the future and further prove myself as a hardworking individual dedicated to achieving her dream career goals. That was the first question. Some of the stuff is not relevant anymore. I do not want to become the first female Filipino-American Supreme Court Justice because I am bad at reading. Also, I'm not really great at writing, so sometimes like the sentences kind of sound clunky. It's not my strong suit, whatever. But yeah, and I'm also like I kind of hate capitalism, so I kind of don't like econ anymore, but whatever, it's useful to know. Okay. Second question. Oh, and then the next three questions, you could choose which ones you want to answer. So, this is one of the three that I chose to answer. Every person has a creative side, and it can be expressed in many ways. problem solving, original and innovative thinking, and artistically, to name a few. Describe how you express your creative side. My answer: since I mostly think logically, I've had trouble with English classes, specifically writing, all my life. Yeah, like you can tell based on that sentence. In order to improve my abilities, I've taken extra literature classes and read as many books as I can. I read 52 books last year and am on my 38th book this year. With these efforts, I've seen improvement in my own writing over time. However, I wanted to continue improving myself I wanted to continue improving by daring myself to do something that seemed impossible to me. I challenged myself to participate in Nanowrimo, a yearly challenge where people spend all of November racing to write 50,000 words in 30 days, where the end result would possibly be publishing their own novel. I signed up for this challenge earlier this year, but ended up forgetting about it. When the time came, I found myself stressing over whether I still wanted to go through with it or not. On the night before it began, I found myself extremely frustrated at life, thus causing the dramatic deletion of all my social media accounts in preparation. I had officially accepted the challenge. I decided to write whatever came to my mind whenever I was itching to tweet something or post on Instagram, mostly because I didn't prepare a plot beforehand. Thus, my story became a pseudo-diary called an inopportune timed epistolary novel, where an exaggerated version of myself wrote to an imaginary audience. On the 24th day, I finished with 97 pages, 50,118 words, and an unimaginable shock knowing that I did it. I wrote a book. Reading it back, I realized that my original goal was unimportant compared to what I got from this project. I learned how innovatively I express myself and how I changed both as a person and a writer in the span of these 24 days alone, which further made me realize how greatly I and the rest of the world am constantly evolving. This mere realization was an amazing feat to witness. As a Nanowrimo winner, I have the opportunity to publish my novel, so I'm now looking forward to the next step in this exciting journey. Yep. I like reading it back, like, once in a while, and I think it's really funny. But it's very personal, so if I ever, like, do publish it, I would do it not now. Sorry, there's a motorcycle outside. Yeah, okay. The second choose your own question is, what would you say is your greatest talent or skill? How have you developed and demonstrated that talent over time? My answer: growing up, I was always shy and anxious, proven by the multitude of childhood videos and photos mainly consisting of me crying. My elementary school teachers knew I was bright, but were always confused as to why I never participated in class, despite everyone knowing I knew all the answers. I didn't understand it myself until one day I came along with my mother to her weekly Toastmasters meeting. I was mesmerized, to say the least. My mother, a soft-spoken, pint-sized Filipino woman, captivated everyone's attention in that room, despite how much bigger or deeper they and their voices have been in comparison. Nonetheless, she took charge and people listened. I realized the main reason why my mother was able to command the room in such a powerful way was because she wielded this insurmountable amount of confidence I never had. Yet, I knew I could do the same. Sorry, I lost my place. I knew I could do the same from that point on. Sure, I wasn't perfect at first, considering I've never been anything but shy and anxious. Nevertheless, I remained determined. Nowadays, I've melded this kind of confidence together with my immense curiosity to create the greatest tool in my skill set: chameleoning. The art of chameleoning is best described as the ability to talk to anyone about any subject. Within just a few minutes of meeting someone, I could gauge what they're interested in and go deeper into the subject. Whether it's something I'm familiar with, like politics, or something I don't know much about, like Sasquatch. This skill has especially helped me while networking, since I always make an impression with the interesting discourse I have with everyone I meet. In addition, as I continue to utilize this talent, I further sharpen my skills while simultaneously learning more from experience and the people I talk to. The more people I meet, the more information is added to my bank of knowledge for future use. Although I will always be shy and anxious, at least I now have the ability to proudly channel my hard-earned confidence and unending thirst for information through meeting new people and making connections. Yep, that's true. That's literally the reason why I got into React. That's the reason why I got into a lot of things, because I know how to talk to people. I mean, it may not seem like it, but I'm very good at one-on-one like conversation, and it's surprising to me too. Okay. Last one. Describe how you have taken advantage of a significant educational opportunity or worked to overcome an educational barrier you faced. And I chose the former. My answer: I was fortunate enough to grow up in an area where my intelligence was consistently challenged and rewarded. Starting from being an integral part of my elementary school's math team to currently being a part of my college's honors program, I have been able to forge an enhanced skill set to utilize to my advantage in every situation I am faced with. One of the most memorable, impactful educational opportunities in my life occurred during the summer before my junior year of high school, when I attended Harvard University's secondary school program. This was the first time I experienced schooling of such high caliber. Hence, I have gained many invaluable lessons from then that have stayed with me until now. I learned how to effectively write high-quality think pieces, properly listen and speak in class discussions, and respectfully debate with people with different views from me. Most importantly, I was formally introduced to intersectionality and its role in the media and the world. I also engaged in political conversations with my peers. Both of these circumstances helped extend my knowledge about political issues I soon became more passionate about, solidifying the base of my personal philosophy and my specific views. Topics from my own ideology include the need for restructuring America's K-12 education system, especially in disenfranchised communities, and the need to spread awareness and tackle the world-spread problem of human trafficking. With the rooted knowledge I learned then and the endless information I am learning now, I am doing my part by spreading awareness on these issues and more, as well as donating my money and supplies to disadvantaged groups in support. Even though these actions may only have a small impact now, I am ready and eager to do more on a larger scale with whatever position I will hold in the future. Having exposure to this new world opened up my own perspective and encouraged me to take part in creating change for future generations. I am forever indebted to my experience at Harvard for its aid in opening up the door of social justice for me. Social justice. Yeah, that's accurate. I mean, I'm still doing it right now. Like with my internship, trying to push the youth vote turnout. During the Black Lives Matter movement, I'm always like putting up resources. I'm still doing that. I'm just doing that on the weekends because I can't do it in the week because I have to be nonpartisan, but whatever. But yeah, that's still very, very accurate. And I feel like it's good that I circled back to when I talked about how like learning intersectionality made me realize about like the wealth gap in my own community, and overall I think this really shows who I am, who I was at that point, but mostly who I am still now, through these personal insight questions, because these answers are supposed to reflect who you are. They want to know what you care about, who you are, like what your personality is, and like they don't I guess like grades do matter, but like being true to yourself also matters. That's how you get anything in life, I guess. Like if you're confident and you're just like being yourself, that's how I got most things in my life now that I'm realizing it. And I also would recommend writing a lot, even before, even like not for the personal insight questions, because I wouldn't have written this well, even though it's like still like mediocre, but I wouldn't have written it at this like level if I didn't do like the Nanowrimo thing. But you don't have to do Nanowrimo, although it's really fun. Just like write a lot, try to develop your voice, and you want to come through in this paper. You don't want to be who you think they want you to be. You don't want to just state things. You have to be very creative in your personal insight questions. And that means like don't answer the questions directly. You have to give a little bit of background. You have to connect it to the question, and you gotta like make it all connected together so it like makes sense. And so yeah, so those are my personal insight questions. I'll just tag them in the I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I'll just put in the description box below the transcript, and yeah, that's it. Sorry, I'm not the best college person for college questions. I watched this one channel, her name is V, and she's really good at it. So, and she's the one, she talked about her personal insight questions, so I was like, maybe I should do the same. So yeah, subscribe to her. She's really good. She's really smart. She's way smarter than me, and she knows what she's talking about because she went to Oxford, and she is now going to Harvard. So yeah, she's a reliable source. Subscribe to her. I cannot give you the college content that you want. So I think this is like the last college thing I'm gonna do. Yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, and see ya, I guess. I don't think so, but whatever.